Some patterns are easy to miss until you start connecting the dots. Hello and welcome to Rooted in the Seasons, where ancient wisdom meets modern life with a strong cup of tea and practical tools for real busy women. I'm Katya Patel, Ayurveda diet and lifestyle educator, yoga teacher, and teacher mentor. Today, I want to talk about something many women deal with, often quietly, feeling bloated. If that's you, stay here with me. You eat your meals, you choose the healthy options, and everything seems fine at first, but then, a little later, something shifts. There's a sense of fullness and discomfort. Clothes feel a little tighter. You feel heavy and not happy in your body at all. If this sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone, because I hear this all the time. And the reasons aren't always obvious. So here's something interesting I notice. Many women I speak to are already eating well. They're making thoughtful choices. They're paying attention to their health. And still, they get bloated. You might have never thought about it, but bloating is often less about what you eat and more about whether the body has the right conditions to digest it. Yes, that's right, the right conditions. But before we look at those conditions, I would like to share the Ayurvedic lens with you. From an Ayurvedic perspective, bloating is linked to Vata dosha with its cold, mobile, light, and dry qualities. At the same time, there can also be Pitta dosha underneath, especially when there's sensitivity or inflammation in the digestive tract. But beneath all sits something even more important, which is called Agni, your digestive fire. When Agni is steady, food is processed efficiently. When it feels low, irregular, or overloaded, digestion becomes incomplete. And this is where you might notice your body responding. First, in subtle ways. For some people, this shows as gas or irregular digestion. For others, it feels more like heaviness or that sense of being slightly unsettled after eating. So what's creating this? Often it's simply the pattern across the day. Eating at different times, skipping meals, then eating more later, snacking when the previous meal hasn't fully digested, eating quickly, eating while working, cold food, cold drinks. None of these are unusual, right? But over time, these patterns can leave digestion feeling a little sluggish. And the body is carrying that heaviness forward because the repetition of our habits gradually creates the issues. In this case, bloating. If you recognize this, it can help to simplify things for a few days, to give digestion a clear, steady rhythm again. I'll come back to that in a moment. Before we go further, there's something important to say. The first response is often to remove foods, the wheat, the dairy, certain ingredients. And this can help, but often the bigger shift comes from how meals sit in your day. This is where things begin to change. Simple structure can make a noticeable difference. For example, eating 3 meals at regular times, leaving space between meals, allowing real hunger to build, eating without distraction. We all know lunch can feel like such a good opportunity to check in with those emails again, right? That's why slowing down is so important. Chewing the food properly helps digestion later. And even something as simple as a short walk after eating, rather than rushing off, helps start your digestion. So it's about creating a rhythm your body can recognize. And Agni, your digestive capacity, strengthens naturally when meals happen at regular times. And the body has a space to digest in between. And this is where talking about snacking seems fitting, because leaving a gap between meals allows true hunger to build. And that hunger is a sign that the body is ready to digest again. At the same time, snacking is rarely about food. It often reflects stress, tiredness, or that moment in the day when energy dips. This is something I've explored more in another post and episode. The secret link between snacking and stress. I link them in the show notes. Let me pause here for a moment and bring this back to the essentials. Remember, digestion works best with regular meals, space in between, and a sense of warmth and a rhythm. Not complicated at all. Another aspect that both Ayurveda and the circadian rhythm highlight is that there's also a natural rhythm to digestion across the day. Digestive strength is naturally lower in the morning and in the evening, and strongest around midday. This is why lighter breakfasts and dinner often feel easier, and why lunch becomes the main meal of the day. Sometimes a little support around meals can also help. You might notice the difference with something simple like taking a teaspoon of ginger juice with a little squeeze of lemon before you eat, or drinking a warm herbal tea after your food. After meals, cumin, coriander, fennel tea is perfect to settle the digestion. Also use warm water instead of cold drinks. These are small things, but they help the body to digest the food. Obviously, food still matters. Warm cooked meals tend to be easier to digest. Seasonal foods align naturally with what the body needs. And certain foods like beans, legumes, or heavier combinations need a little bit more care in how they are prepared. Dried beans and legumes are best soaked overnight before cooking and tempered with warming spices like fennel, cumin, black pepper, or fresh ginger. This is about working with food in a way the body can manage. And this brings us back to something I mentioned earlier. If bloating becomes the norm, a few days of simple, easy to digest meals like Kitchadi can give the digestive system space to settle and reset. This is something I see again and again through simplicity and repetition. So if you're thinking, this sounds very helpful, but I struggle to keep it consistent. This is why I created my 4-day Kitchadi Reset. It's a simple way to experience this structure with guidance, so you don't have to figure it out on your own. Let's recap the main points. Bloating feels frustrating, especially when you feel you're already doing the right things. Often it comes down to how the days are structured, how meals are spaced, how food is eaten, and whether the body has the conditions it needs to digest properly. The body responds well to rhythm, regular meals, warm food, space in between. Small, steady changes matter. Thank you so much for listening to Rooted in the Seasons. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe or follow Rooted in the Seasons on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. This way, new episodes land automatically for you. If you'd like more support between episodes, you can download my free guide, my 5 quick Ayurvedic fixes from scattered to steady, and join my Sunday Read newsletter. You'll find all the relevant links in the show notes. And if something in today's episode resonated, I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me on Substack, or even better, drop me an email. I always read and answer them all. So thank you so much. Until next time, stay rooted in the seasons. Bye-bye.